Well,
it's not for me to reverse myself.
No. I was just saying to clarify.
Except you are expressing your own opinion.
No.
And then I will come after you and say you are wrong.
There's been a flurry of reactions.
Yes.
And I have to present
that
it. It
comes
is my
with
duty.
the job. That comes with the job.
It is my duty.
It's a free country.
It is my duty to present the reactions of the Nigerian people.
And not to come and challenge me.
Absolutely not. I asked you if you would like to comment. I asked if you would like to comment.
I've told you.
Well, the conversation is that a whole tribe cannot be painted with one man's experience.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much for stopping by. So my people, for those that don't have idea of what is happening between Dr. Abati and the Ojy on Arise News. So yesterday that this statement that Dr. Abati made saying that Igbos do not sell land to non-Igbos, which is very, very a big lie, because I have posted a video here where a Yoruba man, said that one of his Igbo friend sold their land to him in Igbo land. I think I have to find that video to prove Dr. Abati wrong, honestly. So today, Ojy was trying to, tell Dr. Abati that he needs to clear the air, right? That he cannot use one of his experience to generalize and also put a false narrative about a tribe that Igbos do not sell land to non-Igbos. So this is the reason why Dr. Abati got angry and he behaved so unprofessional by shouting to Ojy on national television. And I love how Ojy, maintained her cool, she behaved so professional in order to calm the situation down. Like, kudos to her, honestly. Dr. Abati really needs to apologize to Ndi Igbo about that false narrative that he put out there. And also to Ojy, let me allow you guys so that I can listen and hear everything they discuss in this particular video. All the trending gist, also about Simon Ekpa arrest, and also Rufai reaction about Tinubu that keep borrowing without us knowing what he is using the money to do. Just take a listen.
With reactions trailing the arrest of self-proclaimed Prime Minister of Biafra Republic, Simon Ekpa, who was arrested on Thursday by authorities in Finland. Ekpa was arrested with 4 others on suspicion of inciting crimes with terrorist intent through separatist propaganda on social media. The Finnish authorities say that Ekpa used his platform to advocate for violence in southeastern Nigeria with his online rhetoric, fueling attacks on civilians and government forces, and also financing of terrorist activities with investigations tracing back to August 2021. You've been by Rufai, Dr. Abati. I wasn't here when you guys spoke with your guest this morning, but allegedly Simon Ekpa has denied being the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic in court. I believe that he had described himself as the ordinary member, or as an ordinary member of IPOB, which is quite strange because, Bimba, you know that we have seen Simon Ekpa in a lot of his videos, claiming to be, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic. So, I think that he did say in court that, he denied that he is the head. He's just an IPOB member. But let me take some reactions. This has, generated some reactions. This person wrote, Simon Ekpa in court. I believe they wrote, prosecuting counsel, you are the Biafran Prime Minister? Simon Ekpa says, no, my lord, I am not. Prosecuting counsel says, what are you then? Simon Ekpa says, I am a content creator. Prosecuting counsel says, do you have any proof? Well, here's proof, Simon Ekpa. Let's play up that video. This was just cruise yesterday. I laughed so hard when I saw that tweet. And those videos circulating, how come you are no longer the head of, IPOB at this moment? But also, let me take another reaction. This is from Brother Bernard, who wrote, Simon Ekpa's sit-at-home has begun. Only that this time, he's not sitting at home, but in prison. He spends the next few years feeling what Indigbo felt every Monday. For every day he did sit at home, he'd spend a week of it in jail. Karma is real. Well, all right, we know that the Nigerian military has called for the extradition of Simon Ekpa. His arrest was hailed through its Director of Media Defense Operation, Major General Edward Buba, who welcomed the international cooperation in the fight against terrorism, saying that the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, had long called for Ekpa's arrest due to his role in fueling terrorism in the southeast.
We have repeatedly complained about the issue of Simon Ekpa. He is in Finland. The Finnish government are giving him all the support, and he's doing what he's doing. Comments he's making, people are being killed, and nothing is being done. And this is democracy. If the European Union is the one supporting democracy, and this is happening and they're not taking action, then they don't mean well for Nigeria. We have said that in clear terms. We need to diplomatically find means of getting him out of whatever it is that he's doing. He must be arrested, he must be prosecuted. Look at it from the other way. Assuming he is in Nigeria and he's doing that to the Finnish government, you think the European Union will allow that happen? They definitely will not. So why are they allowing him to do what he's doing? And people like him that are doing such things.
All right, Dr. Drbati, possibility of an extradition.
Okay, we had two guests earlier on before you joined us, Vincent Yekwelu and also Ezeala. And Ezeala, who is a lawyer, pointed out that there is no bilateral extradition treaty between Nigeria and Finland. And to that extent, it may be difficult to pursue the extradition. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff has expressed his opinion, and I think it's a valid opinion. But it's also a matter that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs should take an interest in, and also specifically the Attorney General of the Federation. For what reason? For the reason that Nigeria has full rights to defend, protect its sovereignty, and to find every means possible to use diplomatic channels to make sure that somebody does not hide in Finland to destabilize Nigeria. Number two is that the Finland Department of National Investigation said that what they are dealing with is terrorism with an intent to commit crime and also financing of terrorism. Now, that in itself is an international crime, and Finland also has a responsibility to deal with that. Number three is to say to everybody that, look, Simon Ekpa, whatever may have been his offense, must also be subjected to due process. In 2023, when he said people should not go out to vote in Nigeria, he was apprehended by the Finnish authorities, but he was again released. But I make the point that his rights should be respected because there are other issues involved about human rights, about international crime, as Onyekwelu, who was on this program earlier today, also pointed out. I make that point because I've seen a comment by our friend, Jesu Tega Onakpasa, who says Simon Ekpa should not just be extradited, he should be shot. And I'm surprised at that that a lawyer will recommend extrajudicial execution. But I guess Jesu Tega Onakpasa was speaking out of passion. Now, it is now left to the Finnish authorities who are accusing him of crimes of terrorism to prove that he's guilty as charged, but he's innocent until that is proven.
Yeah.
Because, he who alleges must prove. So they have to prove it. I don't know what kind of jurisprudential system that they use, but here, what they say is that if you allege, you prove it. At the end of the day, as to the details about whether he's an ordinary member of IPOB or a factional leader of IPOB or whatever, I don't want to get into those details. Those are not important. What is important is the sovereignty of Nigeria, the security of Nigeria, and the need for international cooperation in addressing issues of terrorism.
I love that, the need for international cooperation. Even here in Nigeria, we have been talking about what needs to be done in the southeast so that there will be, that sort of peace. There have been calls for, what they've said, Nnamdi Kanu should be released because of peace in the southeast, whether or not it would happen, or what's your take on that?
So for me, a couple of things have to be understood. Number one, I concur with the fact that yes, you need to follow the full path of the law. I mean, he has not been convicted yet. The process has just started. We're going to hear his own side. He's going to go through the legal process and the legalese. I understand the point of the Nigerian government trying to say he should be extradited. And you see, this is why we keep on talking about the fact that you need an ambassador on ground. We don't have an ambassador on ground in Finland. So even most of the work you think you'll be able to push as regards liaising with the Finnish authorities, I'm not sure that's going to be smooth sailing yet. You have some representative there, but it's not as having a substantive ambassador on ground. Secondly, I think my most important point is, whatever is done, I want peace in the Southeast.
That's the most important point.
And that's why I asked a question from the guest that was here, that will this bring about peace in the Southeast? Sovereignty and all of that is at the discretion of the nation. I mean, we saw what ordinary Benin Republic even did to Nigeria in the case of Sunday Igboho here. So as regards talk about extradition, I think that's a long call. I think they were just celebrating. But the substantive part of the matter is the destruction of life and property.
That's the main point.
In the Southeast. And is it worth it? So please, anybody that is perpetrating that chaos should stop it.
Yeah, but we have had a lot of stories here. We've taken a lot of stories here about that.
My point is the marginalization also of every part of this country, the Southeast and all of that. Because be it Simon Ekpa, or be it Nnamdi Kanu, be it Ralph Wazirike, they are just symptoms of this marginalization that date back to the 60s in this country. The lack of justice.
Right. All right.
And the things that happened then that we did not listen to.
Right.
The way politicians divided this country because of their own selfish benefits. Right. And that's what we should move away from.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to just touch more on the issues in the Southeast. Yesterday, Dr. Abati, we took this story, and there was a flurry of reactions about whether or not the Igbo people sell land to outsiders. I don't know if you would like to address that, because there were a lot of, people from the Southeast saying that it is not true.
No, I have no further comments on that subject.
Okay.
I was very clear yesterday. I was very specific. I made my point. I provided the context in which I was speaking. If people have a selective hearing, that is their problem.
Well, one of the comments is that you cannot paint a whole tribe with one brush. And they have debunked
Replay the tape again. Replay the tape.
No.
I was specific about what I said. I provided context.
Right.
Nobody should tell me any nonsense.
Well,
if people have a different opinion, they are entitled. No, there's no nonsense duty.
I think it's our duty.
If people have a different opinion, they have anthropological evidence to support it. They should say so.
Well,
it's not for me to reverse myself.
No. I was just saying to clarify.
Except you are expressing your own opinion.
No.
And then I will come after you and say you are wrong.
There's been a flurry of reactions.
Yes.
And I have to present
that
it. It
comes
is my
with
duty.
the job. That comes with the job.
It is my duty.
It's a free country.
It is my duty to present the reactions of the Nigerian people.
And not to come and challenge me.
Absolutely not. I asked you if you would like to comment. I asked if you would like to comment.
I've told you.
Well, the conversation is that a whole tribe cannot be painted with one man's experience. We'll take another story. In another development, Defense Headquarters on Thursday dismissed as laughable allegations made by the Chief Executive Officer of Tantita Security Services, Nigeria Limited, Tom Polo, who accused the Nigerian Navy of aiding oil theft. Speaking on Monday night while receiving the national leadership of the Nigerian Bar Association in Delta State, Tom Polo cited an instance when the Navy shot at officials of his security firm after intercepting a vessel laden with crude oil in Rivers State.
Some few days back, people intercepted a vessel in Port Harcourt where the Nigerian Navy was shooting at Tantita security people with DSS and the civil defense. So we want to employ and beg that you have a duty to play in this present condition now. Because once we do reasonable arrests, what I want to appeal is that you need to help us. If somebody is coming to load a vessel of 5,000 metric tons, you will see this community here now. Nobody will have vessel. The vessel will come from other Lagos or maybe our other neighboring countries or Abuja. But the man here will now do a water boy or a canoe boy. At the end, that is the one that they will arrest or prosecute.
Well, this is a huge story, Vimbai. We know that the Nigerian Navy has denied allegations that its men shot at officials of the Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited in Rivers State. In a telephone chat with the Director, Naval Information Abuja, Comrade Adams Aliyu told Arise News correspondent Ovieteme George that a statement by the chairman of Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited was false. I don't know your thoughts on this. I mean, this is about, talking about whether or not, these people are in cahoot. It's been a long drawn story. But for Tom Polo to come out to say, yes, he is witness to this sort of, allegation is quite grave.
This isn't, I believe this isn't the first time we've heard
Yes.
about, disagreement between the pipeline surveillance security operators and the Navy. And I don't think it's the last time. We know that the situation it's very uneasy because everybody, it's almost like a turf war, where these contracts, these huge contracts, by the way, have been accorded for the pipeline surveillance. And the Navy feel very much that that's their terrain and they can fully handle. Last week we were discussing the proposal of the Coast Guard bill and so forth, which the Navy again is also saying that the Navy is fully capable of patrolling and protecting all of these assets, and almost feels like their territory is being infringed upon. Now, when these allegations come, sometimes you see the videos and whatever. Only God knows what really happens in the creeks, because the creeks are just a different ball game on their own. It's not even something I want to put my mouth in, because nobody really fully understands what's going on there. Because you've got a lot of guys who, legacy of the amnesty and so forth, a lot of guys who have a lot of power, a lot of influence, a lot of money operating there. And then you have the Navy as well, who's feeling threatened by that. So did it happen? Didn't it happen? The honest truth is we'll never know. Of course, we have to take the stance of the Navy in this case and say, well, the Navy is saying that no such thing happened. But I just wish that at the end of the day, we're here trying to plan for, is it over 2 million barrels of oil per day? And then you hear about these types of skirmishes. It makes the prospect of 2 million barrels per oil very pessimistic. If you speak to some of these, and I know some of the guys who have these pipeline surveillance contracts, they'll tell you that Nigeria is doing about 2 million barrels. It's just that the rest of it is being siphoned out and is going into...
I thought it was important to highlight this story because, those that are trying to sabotage Nigeria, be it, the security agencies or, Tom Polo or whoever, this investigation needs to happen. And those perpetrators need to be brought to book. We'll take another story. Nigerian Senate on Thursday approved President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 1.77 trillion naira loan request to help finance the country's 9.7 trillion naira budget deficit for 2024. The loan is said to be part of a fresh external borrowing plan, as outlined in the 2024 Appropriation Act. The approval has since sparked mixed reactions, with some expressing concerns about Nigeria's growing debt, including Senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, who on Thursday urged his colleagues in the Senate to advise President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the dangers of borrowing with securing the country. Let's take a look.
And let's be blunt about it. Let's ask the government to do the right thing. And I'm sure that if we tell the president what to do, he will do it. He will do it. So let us stand up as Senate. We are just approving a borrowing, about 2.2 billion, to fund the budget. What budget if we are not secured? So, Mr. President, I'm sorry, I've taken much more time, but let us take this thing more serious.
All right, Rufai, there's been a lot of reactions towards this borrowing as well, and also some statements. But let me take Atiku Abubakar's tweet, who also reacted. He said that the recent report released by the World Bank showing Nigeria as the third most indebted country to the International Development Association is very concerning. Nigeria is sinking further into debt, and the National Assembly has become An accomplice once more. In July this year, Tinubu boasted that the FIRS and customs under his watch had collected all-time high revenues to finance the budget. Why are we still borrowing? There is something that they are not telling Nigerians, even as they are being crushed by a combination of their failed trial and error policies and loan rackets. These Tinubu's loans are bone-crushing to Nigerians and bringing insufferable pressure on the economy, especially when they are not properly negotiated and utilized. It is time to apply more caution and arithmetic to the loan frenzy. I think Atiku Abubakar's tweet there is quite apt.
And Atiku spoke very well.
Very, very well this time.
Wait, Ojy.
I was applauding.
Wait. Hang on a minute. Everybody, hang on a minute.
Go ahead.
Maybe President Tinubu says an accountant. Why has he not been able to fix the Madaru in the Nigerians' finance and accounting?
Madaru?
Yes. Because you see, we're taking a lot of debt. So our debt now, when he got it, was about 87 trillion. It's gone up to over 134 trillion. There's a deficit of 13 trillion. That's part of it they're taking this money for, to be able to show up the new budget. Plus, the ways and means on ground that he said we have cleared, which we have not cleared. The ways and means is about another 30 trillion. 30 trillion plus 134 trillion, that's about 160-something trillion. Plus all the other debts. We're inching close to 200 trillion. What size of our GDP? Debt to GDP ratio has already passed over 50%. I remember the time of Goodluck Jonathan, the conversation we're having then was debt to GDP ratio of about 26-27% was a problem. So we have outdone ourselves with debts. Ojy, in all of this, if I'm seeing infrastructural development and I'm seeing what they do with the money, Ojy, I'll be the first to come on here and praise President Tinubu. But what am I seeing? I tell you, budget padding. I'm seeing unscrupulous budgetary demands in schools around Ojy River. Ningi was right, he didn't just have the data. When budgets did the analysis, they discovered that over 2 trillion was padded. Let's work with budget on this. And that's the way it is done. So my grouse is, a lot of this money is siphoned. You don't have fiscal discipline as regards the budget. Budget performance too is another topical issue. Then we have a lot of assets we can't afford. Tilewa Adebajo has advocated many times, you have a lot of JVs with the NNPC, just sell off your assets. Because in the end, your own share of running those assets, you don't pay them. Secondly, you've not been able to do forensic studies into the NNPC and what goes on there. There's no clarity there. Like I was talking, I knew what I was saying when I was commenting the response there. There's a 10 billion NNPC is spent on charity. If they can spend 5 billion on that, at least we'll know they are title sponsors of the league. Because if StarTimes collected 1 billion, use 1 billion to be title sponsors of our league, NNPC spent 10 billion on some charity that we don't know about. Right. So what do we now do? At first, we need budget integrity. That's why, please, I beg every Nigerian out there, once the line item of the next budget is released, please, I know it takes thousands of pages, let's scrutinize line for line. We can't leave this work for budget alone to do. Secondly, it's the philosophy of what I call Sebo Timwelewa Ashakmo. Spend according to what you have. At this point in time, because incurring deficits that we don't see, stop all these frivolous projects. I would have thought, and I repeat again, that 15 trillion should have been better spent on fixing most of the roads in the country rather than going to start a new coastal road. And those are the problems we have on ground. So Atiku was very apt. We need common sense. Again, I repeat, the president is an accountant.
You're right. Dr. Drbati, your thoughts? I know a lot of people have talked about whether or not Atiku should be commenting. Even Bode George recently
on the issue of the budget and borrowing, Atiku was complaining about borrowing. Now, I hope nobody will come forward and start abusing Atiku Abubakar and saying, oh, he should not have spoken. Because the key point that he made was that under the Obasanjo administration, there was even debt forgiveness. And he said a few years later, I don't know what he meant by few, because Obasanjo left government along with him in 2007, that Nigeria now finds itself in this difficult situation where it is now so heavily indebted. But whatever his position may be, And he's also saying the National Assembly is an accomplice in this borrowing spree. You also recall that Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party always says, look, we should focus on production rather than consumption. He says he's not opposed to borrowing, but that the borrowing should be used for productive purposes rather than consumption. So you can't shut up the opposition.
Yeah.
The opposition will always say something.
All right.
We're running a presidential system, but I don't think Atiku should be asked to shut up because he has expressed an opinion, because that's the default response from the government. And however, to balance it, Atiku Abubakar may say, don't borrow. National Assembly, you are an accomplice. You are giving us more opportunities to borrow. There are some people, some NGOs, one NGO that is called Center for Equality and Justice, you know, one Theodore, I think that's the name of the guy. He said, in fact, we should borrow more, that the borrowing will boost economic growth, and that the National Assembly should support the president. Right. So two views here. Atiku is a citizen, Mr. Theodore is a citizen. What we can say is the point that even if we borrow, if we have the wiggle room to borrow more, it should be for productivity, not consumption. Yeah. I think yesterday you brought that phrase from Mr. Peter Obi.
From Peter Obi, that Donye Okupe was saying that there was no actual document, and Rufai here deflated his tire, bringing out the actual document. But I asked you a question about Bode George. You know that he had made a statement saying that Atiku should not bother contest. I mean, he's a PDP chieftain. He's saying that Bode George, Atiku will be 81 by the time he contests, and he should just forget about contesting in the 2027 election. Just your quick thought on that comment.
Quick comment. The PDP at the moment is facing trials. It's in crisis. The party has been disturbed since it lost the 2015 election. And part of the problem that the party has is finding a way forward. Now, Chief Olabode George is not just a chieftain of the party, he's a founding father of the party. And he's telling Waziri Adamawa that, look, at 81, you don't need to run for position again. Join us in the position of elder statesman of the party. However, the prerogative is that of Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar to decide whether at 81 he still wants to continue to chase something he has been chasing since 1993. It is also for the party to take a decision. But there are many members of the People's Democratic Party that Atiku's ambition is disturbing the party. They say they need young blood. They say they need some other options. But the party needs to put its house in order first.
Well said.
So Chief Olabode George may well be considered one of the persons offering advice in the party. There are persons who will also say that Chief Olabode George was a member of the G5 and he's a wicked man. Well, maybe he will not agree to that. That he's a wicked supporter on the issues. He will say he's defending principles and that he may be accused of having brought the party to this sorry pass.
Politics. Rufai says he's never going to be a politician. Well, let's take another story.
Never say never. Never say never.
Well, we'll never know.
Knows.
He can't deal with it. He can't deal with it. Don't worry
about it. You go and be councillor or chairman.
Well, all right. We'll take another story.
No, I'm already serving my people.
He is actually. We'll take another story. Following the endorsement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son, Sheyi Tinubu, by the coalition of the Nigerian youth leaders as the next governor of Lagos State, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, on Thursday said that he does not lack the experience to contest the governorship race in the state. Obasa made a remark shortly after Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu presented the state's 2025 budget size of 3 trillion naira. Eliciting reactions.
To the blackmailers who have to embark on the mission to distort and redefine our mission, let me state it unequivocally here. Our intention is to promote our party on the platform of mandate. Also, becoming governor is secondary. It is something that I have not given a serious consideration. Nevertheless, that does not mean I am too young or lack experience to run, whereas those who have been before me are not better off. In addition, it is also important to correct the impression from naysayers who have been insinuating that I made payment to seek for blood relation in Ojo to validate my candidacy to run as governor. Of course, I've never denied the fact that I am Obasa, but rather I've never claimed to be related to Odikoyi, Oniru, or any popular Lagos family, as the case may be. I can indeed never run from the fact that I'm related to my Obasa family in Ojo. But
All right, Rufio on fire, please, your comment on this.
You see, my grouse is just this. You see, we have constantly said this. 2025 is around the corner. Politicking has started full throttle. But the truth is, he has a right to run for governor. He's been speaker for quite a while now. He too is pulling his weight. But the question will be, can he pull that weight against Omo Baba? And who you know that call Omo Baba, Seyi Tinubu, His Excellency Seyi Tinubu.
Omo Baba. Is it Omo Baba Lowo? I know that's
Omo Baba Lowo. Omo Baba Elibi Lokan. Baba Lokan, Omo Lokan. You get?
Yes.
So can he go against that grain? I think that's going to be the biggest conversation here. Right. But he too is capable. I mean, the standards are so low in Nigeria. What do you need? You need just a very small pass in terms of your certificate and all of that. But the most important thing is, will the Babaitos of Lagos put him down? Because there's a man that speaks forth who will become the next governor in Lagos. It's called Babaito.
All righty.
If he mentions your name today, Ojy Nika for next governor.
Correct.
You will be governor.
I don't know if I want to do
if
that.
He mentions your if Babaito
Correct.
mentions your name, you are going to.
Our favorite Nigerian wife. Our favorite Nigerian wife. My final story, I would love for you to discuss this, but I know that Dr. Abati wants to comment on Obasa.
Okay, and I'll be very brief. Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa spoke, by the way, at the occasion of the presentation of the 3 trillion budget by the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. This is a budget that promotes tourism, that hopes to promote, economic issues, development in Lagos State. Value 3 trillion. Now, it was in response when he was speaking Obita, that he now said, well, some stories have been going around talking about him. One, they say he's interested in the position of governor. He says that's not a priority for him. That his priority is to develop their political group, mandate group, and that anybody talking about he doing long truths to become governor are just blackmailers. So to your point, Rufai was saying about the Emilokan, Omolokan project, I think he had a response for that. All right. 2, he also said that some people have been saying he's trying to associate himself with some famous families, Onikoyi family. That is not true. That he's from Ojo area and he's proud of his own heritage. Right. Finally, he made a point that he's as qualified, even better qualified than some people who have been governor in Lagos. Right. He didn't name those ones. Okay. He didn't name the ones that is better qualified.
We'll find out.
But those were the points.
So my people, that is it. I hope you guys had everything they discussed in this particular video, which I would love you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section as always. And please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, share the video, and also give me a thumbs up so that YouTube will recommend this video to other people to watch. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'm going to see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to Shamra Senior Steve.